My name is Elizabeth Goodyear-Grant, and I work in Canadian politics and gender in politics. And my research focuses on gender and representation, mostly in political institutions and in campaigns, and then also how gender structures political behavior, vote choice, that sort of thing. So within the sort of focus on gender and representation, I have a number of ongoing projects. So far, I have focused a lot of my work on like women's representation as candidates and legislators. And me and a couple of other colleagues have become more interested recently too in women's representation in political roles in other aspects of the political systems. We're focusing on women's appearance as witnesses and giving expert testimony in legislative committees in the House of Commons. So given how important these processes are for drafting and refining legislation, and this work has never been done before in Canada, we wanted to ask how many women and which types of women and to which committees. I also have ongoing projects. One is on political exits, we call it. So a lot of the research focuses on women getting into the political system as candidates and legislators or party leaders. And very little research is focused on their exit. So do they exit earlier? Do they exit before they get a chance at big roles like cabinet minister, party leader, prime minister? I mean, I think it's an important point in Canada that we have only yet had one woman prime minister, and that was a generation ago and for a very short amount of time. And so we're looking for gender differences in the way that women sort of leave politics and then how that's framed in media. And we think that this could have important implications for future candidates and legislators by sending them messages about, what women's time in office is like and, how they're valued in the political system. In terms of the graduate students that I personally am involved in supervising, I involve them in my work in many different ways. So engaging in sort of collaborative projects. So the example of the paper I was just talking about that looks at women as witnesses to legislative committees, that's actually co-authored with one of my senior PhD students who's working on women in the Senate. So we found a sort of common interest in women's underrepresentation and in specifically procedures around the House of Commons in terms of how it drafts and refines bills, and then just started, engaging in a plan to collect original data. And in that project too, one of the great things is that our main research assistants for collecting data are undergraduate students in our program. And so it's a project that incorporates, faculty, senior grad student, and then undergraduate students who are then getting an opportunity to learn from both of us. We're a research-intensive department and a research-intensive university, but we also maintain a relatively modest size compared to some of our comparators, which allows us to develop the closer relationships and the working relationships with individual graduate students and postdocs that may not be possible at other places. One of the things that I also really love about working at Queen's is the sort of unique opportunities that I get through things like the Canadian Opinion Research Archive, or CORA for short. So I'm the director of CORA at Queen's, and so this is a data repository, I guess, in a sense, but that also has a mandate for advancing the study of public opinion and quantitative research techniques generally. And this gives me a chance to help support and educate graduate students and postdocs around good data collection and analyses techniques to sort of, educate them about and encourage them to explore the broad variety of quantitative data that we have and that exists out there. CORA also, has funding attached to it, and so it allows us to provide research grants to graduate and students and postdocs to collect their own data or to receive quantitative analysis training, from places like the ICPSR at the University of Michigan and other places like this. So There are some unique features to Queen's that I think really give me and my department more broadly opportunities to enrich and advance my personal research, but also the research and sort of networks with graduate students and postdoctoral fellows as well.